Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today I'll be doing a review of the brand new film, Suzume. I say brand new, it is new to American audiences, as this film did get released in other countries last year, so technically a 2022 release internationally in certain countries, but getting a American release, a North American release here right now in 2023. This is yet another film from Makoto Shinkai, who is most well known for a brilliant film from back in, I think, 2016 is when it came out, called Your Name. If you've never seen it before, it is a beautiful anime. It has some of the best animation that I've seen in an anime as far as modern animes are concerned, and also it has a beautiful story to boot. And so I'll go ahead and give my thoughts on this film as I just got home from the theater. Please make sure, though, before I get started, smash that like button, loud that fire button, Aussie, and smash the rumble button as well. And also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with the bell notification turned on. That way you know every time the video or live stream goes live on the channel. So this is getting released to us from a mixture of Crunchyroll. Sony is the one handling the North American release of this as far as distribution is concerned. And as I mentioned, this is from Makoto Shinkai. Now, I unfortunately was only able to, because of timing, able to see the film with the English dub. I know for all the anime fans out there, that is like heresy. Don't get me wrong, and don't worry, I do plan on seeing this film again because I did, for the most part, enjoy this movie, and I do want to see this film again because I do think it will probably have a much different experience, because it's amazing how different it is when you watch a film in English versus when you watch it in the original Japanese with the Japanese voice actors. Again, the voice acting from the Japanese voice actors tends to just fit the animation that much more, because that was one of the really cool things about Your Name, is I actually got to see it in both versions, and I love both versions of it, right? I thought that they usually get pretty good voice actors for all of their roles in the English dubbed versions, but there's just something unique about watching it in the original language that I think is something very special. So this film is just right here in a small, peaceful town on Japan's southern island of Kyushu. 17-year-old Suzume has lived with her aunt ever since she lost her mother as a little girl. One day on her way to school, she meets a mysterious young man named Suta, who is in search of a door. She follows him into the mountains and finds a dilapidated old door standing alone. And we find out, of course, that this door leads essentially to this other plane of existence. We find out a little bit more about Sato. I was saying that name incorrectly earlier. The character's name is Sato, and basically he is a closer. Right, his job is to go around finding these doors into this other plane where this giant worm thing tries to escape, and it's his job to close the door. That's basically what we are able to gather from the early trailers, and so that's pretty much where I'll stop as far as general plot points are concerned. But the movie, let's talk about it. I thought that for the most part it was pretty good. Again, when it comes to the films from Makoto Shinkai, I do have a very high standard. Your Name, I think, was kind of the peak of his creative ideas and his career because of just how brilliant it was. It's still one of my all-time favorite films of the last 10 years, I would say. It's not a film I talk about nearly enough as I should, because every time I think about it, I think, oh, that's right, it's been a long time since I've seen this film, and I really want to go watch that film again. Since then, he has made other films, most recently, at least the one that I saw more recently over the last few years, was the film Weathering with You, which I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it. Not, again, as good as Your Name. This one, I would argue, is probably not as good as Weathering with You, and therefore not nearly as good as Your Name either. And one of the biggest flaws I think this film ultimately has is that it's a little bit too long in the tooth. And I don't mean that as far as just general runtime. This film is over 2 hours long, but also because the story itself, I feel, does meander a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit too much time being spent in certain places and at certain times, and all the while this is going on, the story isn't really moving ahead all that much. And so it's almost like they could have probably tightened that story up, tightened up the script just a little bit, and it probably would have been a much more effective movie. But this does have a lot of the typical tropes that I think Makoto Shinkai is kind of become known for. All of his films feature a female protagonist who ends up falling, basically finding some mysterious guy or some type of relationship. There's usually a romance between them, but he does such a great job, I think, of capturing the essence of not just romance, but also that sense of romance and that sense of wonder that you have when you're younger. Like, he's very good at capturing those emotions and being able to also really have that show within the actual stories and also within the characters themselves. And I remember when I was watching the trailer for this film, it was actually with it was the Japanese trailer, and immediately when I heard some of the voices, some of the voice actors, I thought I had recognized some of them because they, again, are able to capture these emotions that you are just able to be drawn into. That's one of the reasons why I love Your Name so much, is because it is able just to capture that, and you're just so floored by the love story that's being told here. And this film does have, obviously, a love story within it, as is implied by that poster, and also, of course, as implied by the actual trailer itself. But I do think that the story is just, again, a little bit too long and doesn't really unfold nearly as well as it should. What I can say is that, once again, just like with any of his films, the animation is absolutely gorgeous. I love the animation style that he is able to embrace. I think that he has just really nailed it. All of the images look great. He's able to do some very interesting shots where it almost looks as if there's cinematography in the animation, right, where the camera seems to be moving and panning and zooming and all these other things, like, in something that he has become very much known for at this point, right? It's kind of a part of his style, and it always just makes the film feel that much more unique, and really does feel like this almost combination, this mixture of some type of live action feel, even though it's completely animated. So I really do appreciate his animation. I think that it's, once again, beautiful and beautifully done in the overall in the movie itself. And then, of course, you also have a beautiful score to add to this also. And there's a lot of fun characters, a lot of fun, really, a lot of fun subplots too. There's a lot of great humor in the movie as well. And so I think that it's able to capture those moments. But again, I go back to one of the biggest flaws of the film, which I do think is the overall runtime. And again, it's not necessarily because of how long it is in the actual time frame, but more so because of the fact that the story itself definitely meanders on just a little bit too far past where it should. I do think the story is unique in the way that it is told. It is, again, one of these very fun stories that you are able to just kind of get engrossed with, be like, oh man, this is very interesting. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. But I just think that it takes a little bit too long to actually get there. And so overall, do I think this film is good? I would say, yeah, I would think that this is a film that, if you have the time to go see it, I would recommend going and see it. I would say, though, I would probably wait, and, if you're someone that doesn't care one way or the other, whether it's dubbed or subbed, I would definitely say probably to wait for the sub version, right? Even though I haven't seen it, what I can say is, based just even what you hear from the trailer, the voices that you hear are just so much more of a perfect match to what's going on within the characters themselves. I don't think that this one actually had very good voice actors for the characters. At the very least, the woman who was doing the voice actor, doing the voice for Suzume, I don't think it didn't feel like it fit. There was just something off about it. I don't know exactly how else to explain it other than that. And so I would say, probably would be better to go see this film in the original Japanese with English subtitles, if, again, you don't care one way or the other. If you are someone where you only watch sub versions, you don't like reading subtitles, I would say that the voice acting of almost every other character is pretty good. I think that it all matches what you're seeing on screen pretty well. And it's not that the voice actress for Suzume, the English voice actress for Suzume is terrible by any means. It just, again, just does not feel quite right. And so if I had to give this film a grade, I'm going to go ahead and give this film a solid B. I think it's a very solid film. But again, a far cry from what he was able to do with Your Name. And I'm going to be very interested to see what Makoto Shinkai is able to do in the future, if he's going to continue these kinds of stories, or if he's going to be able to start to branch out a little bit, maybe change things up a little bit in his overall storytelling, because I think that he's got this, again, he works with some beautiful animators, and he's able to just put amazing images on the screen, and is able to have some really awesome story elements to boot. If he can just maybe tighten things up a little bit with the storytelling, and maybe start to change things up a little bit in his storytelling, I think that it could be awesome to see him kind of return to form there. But overall, still a very fun movie, a solid B. Have you seen Suzume? Again, I know that a lot of people probably are going to see films like Nefarious tonight or Renfield. And again, those are films that I'm going to try to go see at some point over the next week or so. But as soon as I saw that this was playing tonight and that it was another Makoto Shinkai movie, I was like, okay, I got to see this because I love this guy's animation style and I love the storytelling that he's able to do. And again, again, even though I've been very much critical of this story specifically, again, because of its length, it still is a very well-told story, well-crafted story that is definitely intriguing enough to keep you interested. It just, again, does feel a little bit long in the tooth as the film goes on. But what are y'all's thoughts about the film? Have you seen? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, like the fire button, and smash the rumble button. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge special shout out to all of my Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members who are at the Keeper of the Bifrost level and above. Starting off with Patreon with Father Luca Illick, Garrett Searles, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Orange Hat Reviews, who you can check out over at his YouTube channel by the same name, Laura, The Modern Major General Story, Rosetta Allen, who you can check out at her YouTube channel at Eagle Writer, and Miss Modern Muses, who you can check out at her YouTube channel by the same name as well. To my Subscribe Star people, we got Matt317, check him out on his Twitch channel by the same name, Fast Reaction, The R, Mr. Roy, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and the K-Man, and you can check out the K-Man over at xtheboundaries.co. And lastly, to my Locals members, Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan, How About a Hockey Player, J.H. Schwalbach, Brett D90, and the amazing lawyer, Robert Barnes. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream, check out the top link in the video description below to join the Keeper of the Bifrost level. You also get access to other things like a podcast that I do every month with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, and also I do giveaways for my Keeper of the Bifrost level people and above, and also my Chosen of Valhalla monthly stream. If any of that stuff sounds interesting, especially those giveaways, which I do give away 4K steelbooks, all kinds of stuff all month long, check out that top link. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a blessed Easter, and as always, God bless.